What's going on, guys? This is Jason of Auglitical. I swim through the politics so you don't drown too. I am just a man trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common. So this, if you're looking at the screen, you're probably wondering, what the fuck am I looking at? Is this a porno you about to show me? No, this is Matara Khan. She's a VTuber. For those of you that don't know, it is a person who makes content virtually. They don't show their in real life selves. And you would think, well, why? Are they super ugly? I think personally, I prefer it kind of this way because you had for a long time girls that would just show that they're attractive and get simps that follow them. Instead, the VTubers kind of bypass that completely. And to really stand out as a great VTuber, you have to actually be good at making content, right? Because anybody can just have a pretty avatar or whatever like that. You got to be good at making content. Anyway, this is Matara Khan. I watch Matara Khan, believe it or not. I actually watched her, Callie. I believe I fell down a rabbit hole with uh, uh, Calliope Mori, which is on Hololog, but then I said I want something a little bit more raw, so I started looking at Nisanji. Was it Nisanji? No, V Sojo. V Sojo. But then they turned into a bunch of crazy, when you got a bunch of girls all together, it turns into a mean girls club. Like real quick, you start to realize, oh, these fucking women are disgusting. Um, and it is a female dominated industry for the most part. But then, and then I ended up looking at Nisanji, where I ran into Matara, but when Matara was named Ren Kosaka or Nina Kosaka at the time, she was under a different avatar. And the thing is, I've always liked these people, but you're gonna see a lot of cracks with their thinking, especially when they ever have to talk about something that doesn't involve gaming or whatever like this, because they do a whole bunch of things, but sometimes you can just hear that some of these people are just not good people, right? Like, let's be real here. A lot of women lean to the left, which is natural, right? They're more emotional, shit like this, and the left kind of preys on that kind of mindset, right? Um. Anyway, with Matara, I've heard really bad woke takes from Matara, and it's like it is whatever, whatever. Like I still look at their fucking content. I still enjoy their content. But I saw this video of her talking about relationship advice, and I got to a point where I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna cover this. But I wasn't sure I was gonna cover this, and then I realized something. You have multiple channels that do reaction videos to their reaction comments, to their content. So I'm pretty sure we'll be fine, right? Now listen, if I purposely avoided this subject because I actually enjoy looking at this person's content, that would be Russian collusion. And we can't have that here because I am authentic as fuck, first and foremost. My channel is rated E for everyone. And just because I like you, don't mean I'm not going to get in that ass. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, keep talking to her. I think everybody that you first meet is always going to be on their best behavior. Hey, Matara, I met a really nice girl that I'm talking to. Do you have relationship advice? Yeah, keep talking to her. I think everybody that you first meet is always going to be on their best behavior, and you're always going to get the best version of them. Unfortunately, sorry, you asked me for relationship advice, but I'm about to make you a little sad. You don't really know people. I like to say you don't really know people until you disagree with them, but it goes further than that. You don't really know people until you both disagree on something very important, and then you see how they treat you in a fight. You see if they're gonna, resort to being rude, resort to being mean, or if they're gonna, kind of like fight against you or make it you and them versus the fight. Number one, you're gonna see how they.
And right there, she's not telling a lie. As of right now, 100% agree with her. You do not know a person until you bleed, sweat, or shed tears with them. Until then, you don't know them. If you really want to find out somebody's true intentions with you, see how they get when they're mad at you. See how they are when they're sick. See how they are when you're sick. See how they are when they run into a crisis. That is how you can tell how that person is. I've seen too many people think that they were perfect with each other, and then some bullshit happens, and they're going in two fucking different directions. Not to divide and conquer, but they're going in two fucking different directions because they don't respect each other. So we can agree. I agree with this. Let's continue.
Take accountability. Number two. Another one is people will show you their best sides at the beginning because people want to impress you and they want you to like them. And it's going to take a lot of months for that kind of veneer to start falling, I guess. So just keep talking to them. Keep talking to them. Think about early dating, or any dating, to be honest, as research and development. You're just doing R&D, right? You're just doing R&D, and they can tell you a bunch of these things. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're out with this girl and she's telling you she loves to cook. She's a cook every day. She's cooking. She loves to cook. And then you've kind of talked to her for 3 months and then you realize she never cooks. So then you're thinking, was she just
she gave you the no mix-up. That's what the fuck we call it. I've had that shit happen to me. I'm chilling playing. I remember, perfect example. I'm sitting here playing Mario Kart Double Dash, and there was this girl that really, really liked me, but my dumb ass didn't know that she really, really liked me at the time. I just thought she just kept popping up and she was into video games. She's over here playing Mario Kart Double Dash, and I'm beating that ass, but I was just happy to play with somebody. I was like, damn, she plays video games. It's awesome. That girl never picked up a video game again during our relationship. In fact, I think she hated video games. But it's not shocking. People will try to put on a facade in the beginning to show you in their best light or what they want you to see.
telling me that she loves to cook because she wants to impress me? Things like those are little examples, but you don't really know people at the beginning. I think at the beginning, even if people aren't trying to, most people kind of have their guard up and most people are trying to just show you little parts of themselves. So it's going to take a while for their mask to slip, and you're kind of have to see how they treat the waiter. If maybe you guys go on a small trip and the car breaks down or there's no gas and they start freaking out and yelling at you, right? Or it's never going to be on the first or second or third date that you're really gonna. And by the way, if it is the first date and they're already exhibiting really crazy stuff, ooh, it's not.
That's actually insane to sit there and say the fourth or fifth date you still don't understand a person. I think that, what the fuck are you doing? If first and foremost, who goes out on dates? Which everybody should go out on dates, but let's be real here. If you're only planning to get information and intel is dates, and you're on your fourth and fifth date and you still don't understand how this individual is to some extent, maybe dating is not something you should be doing. You guys need another experience. Go climb Mount Everest and go die.
Not gonna get any. Basically, the first few months of knowing somebody, this is where it gets tough, right? And I'll give you the example with Miki. I'm sorry, Miki, I'm using you as an example because I love you. My first getting to know Miki was fine, but now as I've known her more, it's a deeper friendship and it's a deeper trust, and it's better and better and better. But that's because obviously, with any friend, we had some disagreements, we had some stuff, we traveled together, we did a bunch of stuff. There was a lot of things that happened between us. But you should kind of treat the first few months of dating as the highlight reel. So if there's already problems there, and it should then get better. That's another part too, where the closer friends I am with people, the more deep our relationship get, the better our jokes get, the more we get along. That's kind of how it should work. But yeah, I just want to be held and feel wanted. I'm sorry, Quizzy. You and a lot of us. Maury, thank you for the 14 months. I think just kind of reframe a lot of your early dating as it's just research and development, right? If you meet somebody and you had a great date, that's nice, but it's research and development. You don't, see one thing and you're like, oh my God, let me buy 5,000 of them. You're like, all right, let me get the sample in. Let me feel the sample. Let me compare it. I don't know. I see by feel. I just want someone to go to Quiznos with. I don't think I've ever been to Quiznos. Yeah, I think just remember that people have a very long research and development phase, and that's okay. Some people have longer research and development phases. Sometimes people's lifestyle and your lifestyle don't really work together, and that's okay. And I think another one is have an idea of what you want and don't be afraid to say no. I think sometimes we're afraid to say no to people, or we're afraid to leave people, or we're afraid to leave situations because everyone's got this thing. I think you should have high standards, but also, okay, how did this turn into a dating talk? You should have standards and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. But also, you should be a little realistic with for example, currently, I'm not in the greatest shape of my life. Am I in good shape? Sure. But I'm not currently making the gym a priority. So if I am expecting to be with a man who has a 12 pack and is working out and eating healthy on the time and not drinking, well, that's not what I'm doing at the moment. At the moment, I am drinking a little bit. I'm not taking care of myself the way I should be. like my nails aren't done, you know, my stuff like that. So there's also that reality of like, if you are looking, for example, for somebody that is super fit and super educated and maybe like goes to therapy and is emotionally intelligent, but you aren't doing all that stuff, it's maybe not realistic. And that goes for everybody, men, women, everybody, right? Where you also have to kind of realize like, okay, well, if you want somebody that works on themselves and is, you know, if you want somebody that like is communicative and takes accountability and all that stuff, are you communicative and do you take accountability? As an example, because chances are that person will also want that kind of accountability and communication from you, right? And that is what it is. I think compatibility is more important than attraction. Yeah, I think it also depends where you are in life, right? Like you try telling an 18-year-old that emotional compatibility is more important than attraction when like just recently become adult, you know, they're like, I just want to, you know, put my thing in someone else's thing. Like you try explaining that to an 18-year-old, right? That like, oh, you know.
And see, and that's funny because we just recently had this thing. I believe it was this big thing with on Twitter where you had guys sitting there saying that one of the big reasons why women get upset, older women get upset when they find younger guys dating younger women, compared to when older women are snatching up younger guys, is that they sit there and they say, you know, you have these women sit there and say, oh, that 19-year-old is not developed enough to understand that she's being taken advantage of, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And to which the guys are saying, yeah, because women have no agency whatsoever. And even all the way up until 18, 19, they completely don't know what the fuck they're doing unless it's in their favor. And then it's completely fucking fine. Right? And another thing is that a woman who's 18, 19, who falls for you is not the same as a woman, or very hard to find, as a woman who's been, you know, banged up and, you know, banged out or banged up, who's been through it and failed relationships multiple times because either she fucks up or whatever. So you're gonna be hard pressed to find a girl with that raw emotional connection of attraction or whatever it is when they're attracted to a guy when they're younger than when they're older, right? You know, again, it's just something to bring up here. So when it comes down, again, when you're gonna start seeing cracks in this person's way of thinking, and again, love your content, but it is what it is, content.
You're looking for an emotional connection and you're looking for compatibility. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so it is what it is. Thank you, Flower. I really appreciate that. So I think it's really important to, I think it's important, like I said, you have to have your boundaries and you have to have things that maybe are kind of like, okay, I don't tolerate this. But at the same time, you should also give people, I know it's so hard, I'm sorry. Because at the same time, you should also give people grace. And you should also understand that people aren't perfect. People make mistakes. Maybe, you know, maybe somebody did not say the full truth on a date to you, right? And then you kind of are like, hey, you told me this on the date, but then you said this. Why are you, you know, saying things that are untruthful? And maybe they're going to be like, look, I'm so sorry. I was actually embarrassed because XYZ. And then you decide, is that enough for me? It depends. That's so sweet of you, Flower. Chat, also proud of you all. Everyone is doing their best and that's plenty. Chat, I love when you get called chat. Chat, chat, chat room, chat. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Too late, Matara. Already crying, spinning, crying. I want someone to love me for who I am. But then this is the problem with, you know, wanting to find somebody to love you for who you are, is that number one, you actually have to show people who you are, which is fucking scary and fucking terrifying, right? Sorry for my language. But then, wait. Let me go further. But then there's gonna be people who don't love you for who you are, and you're gonna be like, everything is wrong with me, right? And then you're gonna be like, everything is wrong with me because these people don't love me for who I. So And sometimes you can work on yourself too. Like, for example, right now, you know, I am drinking a lot. Not that much, but I am drinking more than I should be at the moment. But also my parents are visiting. We're going out to restaurants. We're having champagne, whatever. So let's say like I could tell myself, I want to find somebody who loves me for my drinking and blah. But it's also like, well, I should also for my health not drink as much. At my big age, I'm getting there, you know, there's definitely stuff where it's like, I want people to love me for who I am. But if I'm somebody that like goes reclusive and doesn't communicate with anybody for 6 months out of a year, well, maybe I could work on that a little bit, you know? Your mom will love you for that, but okay, it is not a liter of wine a day. I will say yesterday I had two glasses of Prosecco, right? And then I gave the rest to Junie. And then when I went out with my family later, I had a glass for dinner. So I did have 3 glasses of wine yesterday. It you know, it did add up, but I'm not drinking today. Tee. I'm not dating till I work out on my issues myself. Ooh, that's interesting, John. See, the thing with dating is you're always gonna be like, dating is a good way to also realize where your issues are and how to fix them. But I need you to understand.
No. The fuck? No. That is the last thing you want to do is not know where you are and you're just dating. That is insane to say. That's that shit. This is the tainting of the well thing that I was talking about, right? Where you have people who have actual fucking problems, like legit, not just normal problems, not normal stress, not normal slight depression, real fucking problems, and they are consistently dating and failing at dating and ruining the dating pool. No.
John, and I mean it. You deserve love at every part of the journey, right? Like, just like you deserve friendship at every part of the journey. Yes, sometimes you are like very hurt. If you just got out of like a 20-year marriage, maybe you're not ready to, you know, date again right away. I get it. You have your own stuff to do, but you deserve to feel love and appreciation, and you deserve to have friendship at every part of your healing journey, right? So
none of those things are fucking equivocal. You can't sit there and say relationships, romantic, friendships, platonic, and a 20-year marriage. You can't compare those 3 things. Those are all 3 different things, and you got to handle each and every one of those things differently. So the cracks that I see forming, like there's more cracks popping up. We're standing on top of a lake right now, and I'm seeing cracks popping up. That's how I feel when I listen to this. The thing is, and what I've noticed is that Matara I don't know what happened exactly to her, but you get to this point where women see relationships as just friendships, right? And vice versa. And we know that that's bullshit because they'll then try to sit there, and the first thing that they do is that they'll be like, oh, I hope we can remain friends. They're trying to turn the relationship into a friendship, and it's not. It's that it doesn't make sense. I truly do believe whenever a person is in a relationship with someone and it turns into a friendship, that is a red fucking flag. That is a massive red flag. And you should be smart enough to be like, yo, yeah, I know it's a fucking red flag. You know it's a red flag. I know it's a red flag. So let's not play this fucking game.
That is also something to kind of keep in mind, John. You don't want to get into a point where you're only ever going to therapy and you're only ever working on yourself and you never actually like meet people and give them a chat.
Dog, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Maybe hot take. If you got problems that you're going to therapy for, your ass doesn't need to be in a relationship. You need to be in a padded room.
Right? Yeah, you hate the idea of being worthy of love at the finish line of your journey. Exactly, me too. Same. Like you do deserve to find people and love, even if you're not perfect. But also, I understand if maybe not everybody. Let's say I'll give me as an example. Earlier this year, right? Like, do I sometimes get asked out? Maybe. And if I go on a date with somebody and I'm just complaining about the stuff that happened with my work, you know, this year, and I'm miserable and I'm crying and I'm in therapy all the time. Yeah, I do deserve love, but at the same time, I can imagine if a new man that I don't know will be like, sorry, baby girl, not interested. And like I get it, which is why I'm not dating. I'm not doing research and development right now. But once I heal, it's research and development time, baby. It's research and development time. R&D. It would help if leaving the house in general wasn't stupidly expensive. I agree with you. It feels like nowadays leaving the house, everything costs so much money, and that sucks. And that really, really sucks. Which is why, again, a lot of people are meeting at run clubs, hiking, rock climbing, all that kind of stuff, pickleball, which again, that also costs money. Hell yeah, Skip, I love hearing that. Rufo, I'm sorry that you feel that way. It is something that you have to deal with and something that, there's definitely a lot of people that will love you for other things than that. But if you yourself don't feel that way, then, there's not much I can really tell you. 2 year of Roach Mother. What's up, Arbiter? Also, okay, I have something I want to mention, and then we're going to play video games, okay? For the first time in a really, really long time in society and, whatever, we don't have to get married. For men and women, we don't have to make babies. We don't need to continue the bloodline. We don't need to do this stuff. So that's also kind of exciting because...
And there it is. The cracks have exploded underneath our feet and collapsed. We are now free falling. You thought it was just icy water underneath you? No, there's nothing underneath you. We're falling inside of a fucking the Grand Canyon at this point. We are free falling. You don't need to continue the bloodline. You don't need to. It's exciting. This right here is what I call the downfall of Western civilization. This right here. This mindset right here. This is the ground zero. The source of all of our fucking problems. Now listen. I am not religious. I don't have a religious bone in my body. Nor am I against or for abortion. I am truly in the middle. I don't give a fuck. As long as you do not force people who are religious to have to pay for it, as long as you don't force people who don't support it to pay for it, and as long as you're not one of these fucking idiots over here talking about some Handmaid's Tale, they're taking away our freedoms, and in the same breath, in the same sentence, twerking in the middle of the fucking street, make it make sense. And yes, this has happened. I typically just don't give a shit. But this right here is why everything is so fucked up. Because it's one thing. It's one thing to sit here and not want to have children and not want to be married, but to pretend that it's not abnormal. That right there is something completely fucking different. Do you understand? For example, being gay, being bi, being trans is abnormal. This doesn't mean that you're evil. This doesn't mean that you can't be respected or you don't deserve to be respected if you're a respectful person and not a fucking monster. But that goes for anybody. But you are abnormal. Imagine sitting there saying it's exciting not to have children. It's exciting not to continue your bloodline. Oh, man. Let's continue. Mind you, it's one thing to cause damage on a small scale, which is a small picture, which is just you. It is another thing for you to be giving dating advice and sitting here saying that to impressionable young minds. And the thing that is that most of these VTubers, the majority of their fan base are males. But Matara, I believe, has a lot more female also viewers as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are more males, but still, in this case, it's still bad because if you're speaking majority to women, you're telling women and putting it and planting it in their heads to be just like you, and it's fine. And if you're sitting there and telling young boys this, what you're sitting here and saying is, don't try to have children. It's okay to sit there and just watch the years go by and you just keep fucking with these girls who won't commit to you. And that's okay because there's nothing absolutely wrong with that because that's what they want. You should want exactly what they want because it's normal. It's fucking terrible.
Like, I don't know. I'm a growing hag woman, right? And there's a lot of folks being like, oh, Matara, if you don't have kids now, you're gonna miss out forever, and it's the great. And I don't know. I'm like, my grandmother was not allowed to live experiences the way I'm living my experiences. My mother, same thing. So it's kind of cool that I can just not have kids if I don't want to. I also don't have to get married if I don't want to. I also don't even need to be in a relationship if I don't want to, right? Like that was something before where I'm sure y'all have heard like a woman is nothing without a man and a man is nothing without a woman. But I don't know. I've really enjoyed my like roommate time, right? Like I live with the girl.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can find a fulfilling life without having a child as a woman. No one's sitting there and saying that. However, when you're sitting here and you're talking to people, other people, about your abnormal lifestyle, and you're saying that to these other people, there is a fucking problem with that right there. Yes. This is no different than any of these other older women who are stealing from the cradle, as they call it. And it's okay for these women to do it because the majority of older women do this, where they fucked up their young years and now they want to run with the 2030s, the 20 and 30 guys, right? But they don't want younger women dating older men because men are taking advantage of them. When a lot of these older guys don't want to deal with the older women because the older women are fucked in the head. Like, for those of you that don't know, Matara Khan is a career-oriented woman. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a career-oriented woman, but it is not the norm. And we don't mean it's the norm as in the patriarch who's looking down on them saying that's not the norm. Women left to their own devices are not career-oriented. They would rather be spending time with friends and family. This is just the fact. This is just the fact.
It's great. I hang out with some girls. It's nice. I don't know. It's been kind of nice. I'm like, I'm doing my stuff. It's nice. I can still have a fulfilling life that's exciting, and I don't know. Aren't I scared of cooties? Not at the moment. I kind of feel like I need to continue the bloodline because I'm an only child. At least I feel like I do. You don't owe your parents children. Like, you do not owe your family, your parents, you don't owe them children. You should have children if you want to have children, but you don't owe your parents to, it's absolutely not something.
Imagine your parents probably finding love at the end stage, having you, and you decide you're gonna end the bloodline. Holy shit, female nature. Oh man. I had become the destroyer of worlds.
Something that you have to do for them. Has it really been 2 years? It has been, Arashime. It's going to be 2 years on October 15th. Can you believe that? That would be a crazy bargain. Okay, Timmy, we will buy you an Xbox, but you owe us a grandchild by the time you're 28. That sounds awful. But yeah, bribe your siblings to have children. I know you said you don't have any siblings, but yeah, you should, Space Captain. One of the things about Anime Impulse that I really love is they do have fairly cheap tickets. I don't know if Anime Impulse Dallas will be the same, but Anime Impulse OC, it was $45 for a Saturday and a Sunday. Like both Saturday and Sunday together were $45. And it was a huge convention because it combines K-pop, it combines card collecting, and it combines VTubers. So there's so much. I have every hereditary disease under the sun. Why would I want to curse a kid with that, right? I kind of feel bad terminating 200k years of human evolution. Somebody else is not terminating those years of evolution. Plus, you have a bunch of kids. Yeah, true. You can.
Yes, so because somebody else is having a child, you shouldn't have a child to continue your lineage. Do you know how fucking stupid and backwards that sounds? Now, let's see who's having kids. People in third world countries, which let them have kids. A lot of uneducated people, people who want to take over your entire civilization and oppress you. Right? Now, as a black man, I have to speak on this as a black man. Every 3 and 4 black kids are aborted because they purposely put eugenics in the urban communities. They purposely put Planned Parenthood, which was founded by a Nazi to keep the black population down. purposely. But even though throughout all of that, blacks are resilient. White people have not had to have gone through some bullshit like that and be sabotaged from the jump. And now white people are starting to see a massive decline in their birth rates. Maybe it has a little bit to do with women like Matara Khan mindset right here. Yeah. Now they're becoming the minority across the world. And now they're bitching, crying, and complaining. And the answer to this is, well, other people are having children. Well, I don't want to bring children in the world because we have enough people in the world, which is also a lie. Or, well, there's not enough space. That's also a lie. Or, well, we don't have enough resources. That's also a fucking lie. It only takes 2 generations for a civilization to completely collapse or be completely overran. Look at Europe. Whites are complaining right now because white women are not having white babies. Just wait until the other groups where technically they are white still, because Middle Easterns, Arabs, are considered whites or Jews. But it's not the Jews that's going to do it. Wait until the other population gets the numbers that they want, just like England. Number one name in England right now is Mohammed. Man, this is the shit I am talking about.
Donate your eggs or your floaters if you want people to. You could still have technically your offspring be around. It just won't be in like the traditional, I don't know. Also, yeah, everybody will eventually forget about everything. Like in 100 years, no matter how great your name was in history, in 1,000 years, and then I don't know. I know. So Skip,
Female hands wrote that. Female hands said that. Female brain thought that. Female brain thought that. That's that small picture shit right there. In 100 years, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. To live in the now. That is female thinking right there. That is typical female fucking thinking. We still think about the Romans. We still think about our grandfathers, our forefathers. Are you fucking are you kidding me? We still think about the Spartans. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious? And with technology the way that it's going, things can be better preserved. And you sitting here and you talking about it doesn't matter. You don't need to continue your bloodline. You don't need to be, man.
obviously feel like this is another thing about children. I know there's been a lot of discussion lately about, maybe maybe Gen X and the gen before them didn't always raise kids. They did the best they could. But now I've been seeing some kid content that it really feels like the parents want to be parents and they are doing such a good job about it. Right? And because of that, it's just kind of exciting. Alexander the Great would like to disagree with you. Well, Alexander the Great was what?
Oh, you heard that ending part right there? That's weird. Let's look at some of these comments. Where did the comments go, though? What? What is it? What? What the fuck are the Yo, YouTube, man. What the fuck, man? All right, here we go. Yeah, I always say, I'm sorry, wrong comment. I read the wrong comment. All right, relationship advice. Don't take relationship advice from women. I am still looking for a female that gives relationship advice, and I know that they exist. The problem is you run into too many Courtney Rhymes, which are frauds, or too many Sadia Khans, which are frauds, right? It's a bad look. This is why Coach says don't listen to a woman for relationship advice. You want a girl to fall in love with you for who you are, become someone worth that. If you're not established and don't know game, no woman is going to fall in love with you no matter how honest you are. Poke Dude says, of all the people you could take dating advice from, a middle-aged single woman? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Not that I'm any more qualified, but there's something here about the blind leading the blind. The only advice I know is that if you stop giving a fuck what people think about you, that helps a lot. Yeah, that's true. You'll scare off the people that don't like you right off the bat, and anyone that does like you will be drawn to you instantly. Now, for what you do after what you draw someone in, I have no idea because I fucked it up the only two times it ever happened. Don't worry, we'll get a three-peat, dog. We'll get a three-peat. Now, unfortunately, in these kind of circles, you have people who are mentally deranged that are drawn to these circles, right? Multicolored hair freaks and stuff like that. We're gonna read one of those comments right now. Yeah, this comment section proves two things to me. Don't date in this gen because none of them know what the fuck they're doing, even if they're in the same gen. Don't date in this gen because they're all mostly live in some online social media bubbles that infects their heads with propaganda. And they don't question shit. If you actually think humanity is on a decline population wise, then congrats. You fell for the nuclear family bullshit. Actually, that's not true. I think that the boomers were 60% gen, and then like I think after the boomer generation, I think like Zen, I forgot which one was next. It's like fucking 36, and then it drops down to like fucking 12. And this is just the population, right? We have a big number of elderly, but we don't have the younger generation anywhere close to the number of the elderly because we have a decline in the birth rates. So shut the mind you. Now we can sit here and talk about what's happening in the other parts of the world, but other parts of the world are not us. They're not us. They have no intentions of being us. They'll come over here to take over, but they have no intentions of being us. So when you sit here and you say shit like this, it's stupid. But anyway, I know this is a commie kid. If you actually think humanity is on a decline population wise, then congrats. You fell for the nuclear family. You fell for the nuclear family bullshit. Now, go make one and contribute to the dumpster fire more while not being. Yo, dog, this fucking person. This person says, if you believe in the nuclear family bullshit propaganda, go have a kid and contribute to the dumpster fire. Contribute to the dumpster fire more while not being stable financially, physically, or mentally, financially, or physically to have them. Kids aren't a joke, nor are they a political talking point. Then what the fuck are you doing right now? You're advocating for not having children by making it political. Maybe people want to have kids because they want to have fucking kids to continue on their bloodline. It doesn't got to be political. Maybe because it's the right thing to do. Maybe because us as humans, that's what we want to do. It's the natural thing to do. Anyway, stop reacting and actually think because I really doubt some of y'all are 27 or even in your 20s. If you do, start thinking and less reacting. Y'all talk like dumb high schoolers, but somehow worse. That's insane. That's an insane comment. That's an insane comment. That's an insane comment right there. Harold Carter says, actual modern woman take. Self extinction has never sounded so virtuous. Too bad everyone who thinks this way will self select themselves out of the future gene pool. Heracrux says, would you listen to a dog's owner advice on how to take care of a cat? Would you listen to a baseball player's advice on how to play football? Would you listen to the advice of someone who was born rich on how to grow your wealth from nothing? Would you listen to a woman's advice on how to shave your face? No, because that would be stupid. Stop listening to women who tell you how to be men. They don't, and they actually, I'm sorry, they don't know and they will ever know. And you know what's crazy? Matara Khan is actually the nice one, right? She's the Charlie Kirk, in my eyes, of the VTuber community, right? Matara Khan says, men are easy, just be nice to them. If this is the actual mindset of the nice girl, we are cooked. You hear me? We are fucking cooked. Star Sky says, well, sure, but you have to contend with the consequences of that. As with anything you choose to do or not do.
To get married. For men and women, we don't have to make babies. We don't need to continue the bloodline. We don't need to do this stuff. So that's also kind of exciting because
that's true. You don't have to do any of those things. But you better not bitch and complain like a majority of them do when that shit goes down. Because let's be real here. I wouldn't be saying any of this if it was 50-50 between women who are, who are, they have a family and they're surrounded by loved ones, but at some point they go, I sacrificed so much and I never got the chance to pursue my dreams. Versus women who are like career oriented and they're like, I did all of this in all of my years and I threw away all the relationships I could have had and I never got the chance to be a mother. If it was 50-50, fine. I wouldn't have anything to say about this. If it was, let's say if it was 40-60, right? I'm sorry. If it was 60-40, sure. The number's not even fucking close. Right? The number's not even close. No, it is. It's like it's much higher. I think that you have you have way less women who are surrounded by family, right? And loved ones as they grow who want to talk about they threw away their chance to be somebody compared to these women who are girl bosses and boss bitches and all of this shit who are screaming realizing their home is cold and they have no one that loves them, no one that checks on them, no one that cares for them, no one that cares about them. We know. Having children isn't something you want or don't want to do. Children aren't a performance. They're an endeavor for the sake of a greater goal for parents. It's simply something you need to do at a certain point in your life to give it greater meaning. Hmm. Hmm. I noticed some people pointing out that Matara is single at her age and giving this advice. Here's the thing, perhaps she has learned from her experiences and wants to help people not repeat the same mistakes she did. And honestly, I find it more ironic to see a single person shame another person for being single. Kind of puts Matara's take on love me for me into perspective, as you may show why you're single if that's your knee-jerk reaction to her advice. Right. Matara's divorce. I believe she's the one who seek divorce. I don't know the details of her divorce. I don't even want to talk on it like that. But for you to sit there and say some shit like that, this is kind of like when women sit there and say men can't talk about a woman's body because they're not women, or blacks sit there and tell white people whites can't sit there and say anything towards blacks because they're not black. To some extent, true, but you can't. That shit just sounds fucking crazy. I have eyes. I have a brain. I can think. I can understand. I can feel. Bullshit. I don't know if she just clocked out. I don't know what it is, but hey, asking a 40-year-old single woman for dating advice is peak comedy. Solid advice. I don't know if I agree with deserving love at every point of the journey. Right now, I am at the working on myself stage. I feel like why would I let anyone deal with my nonsense when I don't even like myself? A potential partner deserves better in my mind. Though I'm almost at the stage where I think my bloodline will end with me. LOL. The baby cope at the end is telling. I'm glad someone else picked up on this. Major Mata L. You can kind of get the experience a VTuber gets as an old person just fine, but you can't get the kind of experience a young mother gets as an old person. So not only is she coping, she is also willingly fumbling on priorities and opportunity costs. That's a tragic L. Well, she's too old now to become a mom, pushing 50. Bro, she's not fucking 50 years old. What the fuck? So what she's gonna do over that? Oh, I'm sorry. So what? So what she's gonna do over that that reconcile and make peace with the idea of her getting her own family? Bro, she's like 30. She's like 36, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with these dudes? Something to note is that Matara is single and way more career oriented than most, so take everything she says with a huge grain of salt. You don't need to fear commitment that much. If you get the big conversations out of the way early, you won't need to be just acquaintances for that long. Sometimes the honeymoon phase lasts a year, depending on the people involved, not the career they might choose. Doesn't the big conversation at the start repel others away? From then on, it's just not pure fun anymore. Early on is Early is not the start. Don't have the kids conversation on the first date, but don't wait until the wedding either. The truth is that there is no set stone advice for dating. People will always give specific advice from their experience and perspective. However, the process looks like is actually something you select for. People have such big disparities in what their priorities are and what they select for. The most important part will always be to figure out your own life. If you understand yourself, then that will be your guiding principle. Be mindful about where these thoughts come from. Like for example, people are prime for damn dog, hell nah. I ain't reading all that. Blah. Actually, right now, having kids is the most necessary thing, taking into account the birth rate. It's not for yourself, but for society and future people. You deserve love at every part of the journey. I don't agree with this at all. People have to accomplish their goals to be rewarded for the, if it's even worth the reward at all. As a general rule, it's not a good idea to ask a terminally single person for relationship advice, but those weren't bad. Hmm. There are plenty of people breeding in this world, and Earth is like 7 billion people already. We are fine on population. We do not have an obligation to have kids. I'm sorry, I just need there's 9 comments, so I'm guessing somebody dragged them. That's not true though. Humanity as a whole is on a decline. The boomers were like 60 million, Gen X 48 million, millennials 37, and now the next generation is due to be 13 million. This is the shit that I was talking about right here. Y'all thought I was lying to you? Listen, I'm 9 for 10, and the shots I miss, I still hit the person I want to hit with the ball. Get the fuck? Oh man, Matara will be a good mom if she chooses to. I don't know about that. I like her, but I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Read the last comments. Definitely not with the amount of work she chooses to take on. More like a cool on. Chooses to, not her age anymore. More than one way to be a mom. What the fuck does that? No. Oh my gosh. She blew that chance with the guy she divorced. That's crazy. Anyway, that's the video. Catch you next time. Peace.